Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We are Baltimore positive. We are positively taking the show back out on the road. Crab Cake Tour at Cooper's this week and Coco's Pub. Established 1985 says so on my shirt. Feels like it's been a long time since I've been to Coco's. My wife and I went in for dinner about 3 weeks ago, but we're going to be there on Wednesday the 30th. I will have the freshly minted Back to the Future scratch offs to give away. So Back to the Future and getting a little Coco shrimp over there next week. Looking forward to that on Wednesday. We'll be joined by longtime compatriot and local journalism Jamie Costello, as well as Senator Corey McCray and Howard Perlow, who throws a big party out in Las Vegas for a bunch of real estate folks who I've gotten to know as well, will be joining us at Coco's. I owe this guy Crab Cake and Roz and John Martin, everybody at the Maryland Lottery. Seth is now pinch hit twice in a row now. You're almost up to sort of Laureano status from an Orioles perspective here. He is the chief communicator of all things communication at the Maryland Lottery. And, dude, I just got these Back to the Futures. And then, I start seeing Let's Make a Deal. And I'm like, people have been calling me Monty Hall for a long time, man.
Well, they'll enjoy the opportunity to take part in some more nostalgia. Let's Make a Deal's been around for a long time, and Back to the Future, of course, celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. But yeah, the two actually game show related tickets that just launched this week. Let's Make a Deal is one of them, and then the other one is Press Your Luck. I used to love that show. Remember being
Whammies? The whammy?
No whammies. Stop.
Dude, on a week, listen, for everybody here, let's take a moment here. For all of us, whoever, watch any of these shows or tic-tac-toe, we lost Wink Martindale this week, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That.
Like, that's a big one for me. Wink. And then Wink Martindale, the other Wink Martin, who I knew, Don Martindale, was the coach of the Ravens and all that stuff. But Let's Make a Deal, Monty Hall. I got to ask you, man, do you go to Let's Make It? First thing, you wear all that outfit and you do all that stuff and you're there, and then he calls on you. Would you have a preference on door number 1, 2, or 3? And I always like when he's like, door number 1, 2, or 3. And everybody's looking around at the crowd like somebody's going to give Oh, but man, what a great show that was. You're making me smile here today.
It's actually going to be a really cool experience for 5 of our second chance winners because, first of all, let's talk about the ticket. The Let's Make a Deal ticket just went on sale this week with a top prize of $50,000. It's a $5 scratch-off ticket. And you can enter any of your non-winning Let's Make a Deal tickets into My Lottery Rewards for a series of second chance drawings that will happen over the next few months. The first one comes up in May. We will select 5 winners who will get a chance to travel to Los Angeles for a 4-day trip to see the sights in Los Angeles and have great accommodations and a great tour of the city, and then also get to take part in a taping of the Let's Make a Deal game show. They'll get a chance to go to a costume shop, pick out a costume, and be there in the audience for a taping of the show and have a chance to win money potentially as part of the show. So 5 winners that'll get a chance to do that. And then in each of the drawings that we're having, there will also be 5 winners of cash, the prizes of $5,000. So there'll be cash winners, there'll be trip winners, and then of course instant winners on the game itself. And really kind of a cool experience and a new ticket that just hit the stores this week. So we hope everybody has fun with that, and that everybody has fun with Press Your Luck as well. Press Your Luck's a $3 ticket with a $30,000 top prize. So I like both of those. I remember both of those shows, but especially Press Your Luck. I remember being home sick from school and Press Your Luck and The Price is Right. That was the run of the on CBS in the mornings. So
the whammy was such a jerk, right? I mean, the whammy was not nice,
but entertaining. Very entertaining.
Taking their money, right? It was like that, right? Seth Elkin is here. A lot of times you guys give prizes away, and I'm like, that's nice for somebody else if it's some country music festival or something I don't want to do. I think about flying to LA for a couple days, maybe hanging out like the Randy Newman song, and taking my wife and putting some get up and going all dressed up like it's Halloween to the Let's Make. That sounds like fun. That sounds like a really fun prize.
We think it's going to be a cool experience. We love giving away these experiential prizes, and that's one of the really big benefits of the My Lottery Rewards program. We give away really unique prizes that you're probably not going to find in a lot of other places. So it's a great chance to have that experience, and we hope people have fun playing the ticket. We're certainly going to get instant winners on the ticket itself, of course, but we're looking forward to being able to send those 5 people and their guests to Los Angeles for the taping of the show. I think that's going to be a lot of fun and a great experience, as all of the travel prizes that we have. As we've talked about before with the Ravens, traveling with the team and getting that experience is something, again, an
I was gonna
experiential
say, like,
prize.
Roquan Smith bringing me cheesecake's cool, but I'd rather have like, and this is gonna be my little entree for John next week. The show I did my homework. I don't. I know Monty Hall doesn't host Let's Make a Deal anymore. I need to find out who the next host is, because if I win this thing, I want to go out and pick the donkey behind door number 2 or whatever whatever they're going to do to me there. Seth Elkin is here. We do lottery chatter. I want to get to baseball, even though I don't want to get to baseball. They're not getting enough hits, let enough home runs. So before we get to any of that, Back to the Future, I'm giving these out as well. You have a whole like line of other things going on. We talked about the Scrabble game a couple of weeks ago. Every time I'm in Costas, I'll be at Coco's next week. I see people playing your games. They're just a myriad of different games to play, and I think you guys try to make it fun for everybody, above and beyond what's going on with multi-match and Mega Millions. And but the scratch-off part of the portfolio of the lottery is always fun and branding.
Yeah, it's something that we have a lot of fun with because you can really have a lot of flexibility with the artwork and the designs, and as you say, the licensed properties. As we talked about with the game show tickets, and as we talk about with Back to the Future. It's something that hits that nostalgia point for people, and it draws them in to try to play the game, and then it draws them into the second chance contest too, which is kind of cool. So Back to the Future, we actually just had the first drawing in the second chance promotion for that this week, and we've drawn our second chance winners for the Back to the Future contest, and we've got 4 cash winners in this first drawing, and I can go through them for you. We've got Roger Evans from Nottingham and Thomas Kellum from Hagerstown, who each won $1,955, because that is the year 1955 that Marty McFly traveled back to in Back to the Future. We've got Patricia Kendrick from Laurel, who won $2,015. That's the year Marty traveled to in the future in Back to the Future Part 2. And then Cora Patricia Thompson from Baltimore won $2,025, 2025, marking the 40th anniversary of the Back to the Future franchise. So some cool prizes that are tied into the significant years and numbers from the movie franchise, and more drawings to come in that as well. We got I believe 4 more drawings in Back to the Future coming up over the spring and summer months here, so plenty of chance to get in on that. And in the last Back to the Future drawing, the grand prize is $8,888. Why? Because Doc Brown's DeLorean needed to travel 88 miles an hour in order to travel through time. So kind of a cool nostalgia promotion for us. And I think a lot of people are really enjoying that. You and I
Says
certainly,
right here
if
on the
nobody
right here in
else.
the ticket, reveal in 88, and and the prize is shown. It says right here, 88. 88 miles an hour. Uh, I have fun with all of this, but the as the lottery spokesperson, we do all this. I always say that really the magic thing for anybody is to use the app, scan it, and get involved in Second Chance, because that's where like the big dough is. I mean, I give these things out. They're $2 tickets. I've had people win $5, $10. I've had people win 50 and 100. I've had a couple of $100 winners at my shows and my crab cake tour. But like, I wouldn't know if the Nottingham guy, and by the way, there ain't no Nottingham, even though I lived there for 10 years. It's White Marsh. But nonetheless, that fella entered Second Chance. This is what everybody does, and this is how you win the big banana when and I think that's the real part of scratch offs, that like we didn't have that 30 or 40 years ago, but that's really where the big jackpots are.
Well, it's where a lot of really cool prizes are. All these things we're talking about, like trips to Los Angeles for Let's Make a Deal, and trips to go travel with the Ravens. These are second chance prizes that we award through My Lottery Rewards. So if you don't have a rewards account, you can sign up for free. There's a rewards app available for both Android and iPhone, and you can download it, and it makes it really easy to enter your tickets, because all you got to do is scan the QR code with the rewards app, and it'll enter the ticket into your your account. And for any of these tickets
It's
that we're
so
talking,
easy. I can do it. Just so you know. Like I just want to make it like even I have it. That's how
well,
easy it is.
before we had that capability, there was a long string of characters that you had to type in manually, and you don't have to do that anymore. The app
Or
makes it
mail them
very.
in. Remember that? Or maybe you don't, but I remember that
That's
too. You know?
before my time. Before
Right.
I've been here 10 years, and we always had the scanning ability in the time that I've been here. So that makes it very, very easy. And
Send in your non-winning. They called them losing then because they didn't know how to market. Send your losing tickets in for the second chance. That was 1980. You know what I mean? Like a long time. I wouldn't want to work in the mailroom over there that week.
But the cool thing is the easy part of it is that any of these tickets that are eligible for second chance contests, like Let's Make a Deal, like Back to the Future, like the Ravens tickets during the football season, when you scan them and enter them into your account, you are automatically entered into those second chance contests. There is nothing else for you to do. There are no extra steps. You don't have to remember to do anything else. Just by entering an eligible ticket that's eligible for a second chance contest, you're automatically placed in the pool for those drawings. And at the same time, every ticket that you enter is helping you make progress to earn points that you can use to redeem for prizes in the store that's on the website. And some points that you get can be used to enter additional drawings. So there are multiple ways of taking advantage of your rewards account, and certainly getting in on the second chance contest and entering the tickets that are connected with those contests is one of the big reasons.
Seth Elkin is here. He communicates for the Maryland Lottery. John Martin joins us from time to time, but I thought John be flexing his muscles after the Cleveland thing last week. We haven't seen him. I know a lot of things going on, and we'll get him back in here. But I always love having you on to talk a little baseball, a little topicality. I mean, I usually love talking baseball with you, but not right this. Woo! This has been. I don't know what to say. Is there anything you want to say about the Orioles right now, just to be
Well,
nice before we do home run riches?
it
Because
could be worse. It could be worse. You could be a Pirates fan like me.
well, tell me. I want to feel better.
Because Cleveland cleaned our clock too. So we're not as badly as Cincinnati cleaned the Orioles clock, of course, but
There's nothing worse than a bad start, though, right? Like, especially when you have hope. It's sort of like, and then the pitching goes down, and then you're not hitting the ball. It's just not a good start. Is what It's just more fun that way. It
I
really is.
you got to remember how long a season it is. The season goes on for 6 months, and like you say, some of these pitchers will be back, and that certainly is going to help. But it's a tough situation the Orioles are in. You see them lose a guy who hit 105 home runs over the last 3 years in Anthony Santander. You see them lose Corbin Burns, who I think everybody maybe assumed that was only going to be one and done here in Baltimore. But, it's unfortunate. It's frustrating. I know what it's like as a Pirates fan to see your best players walk away. I'm hoping that does not happen in another couple of years with Paul Skeens, although the Pirates seem not to be able to win with him either at the moment because their offense is terrible. But
Well, there's a lot of great young players. I mean, we saw De La Cruz make that incredible play this week.
yeah,
The kid that pitched for the Nationals on Tuesday, and we're going to see the other kid on Thursday. We're going to see Scooble this weekend. I mean, really good players, really good pitchers as well. We don't have a lot of those right now. I had a long chat this week going into the weekend. Man named Lynn Henning, legend in Detroit, has covered the Detroit Tigers since 1979. He was actually at the beginning of Oriole Magic when the Senseis hit the home run against the Tigers in 1979. And, I had him on, and we were talking about the Tigers and the Orioles, and we talked about Scooble and just sort of like where the Tigers were this time last year. Got off to a bad start. They were no good, and then they blossomed in the second half, and the Orioles kind of stunk in the second half last year. Tigers came on. Scooble was a guy that there was huge talk about holiday for Scooble. And I'm not saying that Elias wouldn't have made that deal. You don't deal sort of generational players usually, but you need pitching. But I thought that was a fascinating conversation to have with a sage old baseball guy that's been covering the Tigers for 50 some odd years, to talk about that kind of a deal, because those are the kinds of deals, those blockbusters that you wait for, but everybody's nervous when you make them.
yeah, and I wish my team were in on conversations like that. The only conversations we have about player movement in Pittsburgh are, how long are we going to be able to hold on to the homegrown talent? And it is very, very frustrating what's going on there. But it's interesting to me. There's kind of a tie-in here to our Back to the Future ticket. When we talk Back to the Future, it's 40 years ago. It came out in 1985. 1985 was also one of the worst seasons in Pirates history, and I was 13 years old that summer, and they lost 104 games, and they were just absolutely
I remember
terrible.
they called Bilecki up that year. He's a Dundalk guy, you know. But Bilecki said when they would call him up to Pittsburgh, he'd have to leave Hawaii because their team was in Hawaii, and
Right.
he would come to Pittsburgh, and he's like, all the fans wanted to do was heckle you because the team was so bad.
Well,
He's
there
like, it
weren't
was
that many
just,
fans. There weren't that many fans in
but
the
you could
stands.
hear them all.
You can hear that's right. See, that's what happens. People don't realize that when you follow a really bad baseball team and the microphones that they use on the broadcast to pick up the crowd noise, you're hearing individual voices. So it's really kind of bizarre. But yeah, that year I went back and looked this up because I was just kind of interested. Again, nostalgia. The same way we have nostalgia with the lottery tickets, I have nostalgia for that 85 Pirates team. Their attendance that year was 735,000 for the entire season.
And they
And they had
lie about attendance.
and they had 47,000 for the season opener. That's like 6% of the season's attendance in
Dude,
one
I
game.
lived through '88 here. We had more people at one night for the Fantastic Fans night when the Rangers came in. My dad took me to that game in '88, so I'm all about it. Seth Elkin is here. I love talking baseball. Home run riches and what
Yeah.
you're doing. We're not hitting enough home runs right now, but each and every night there's an opportunity. We do have. Look, I'm worried about the pitching. I'll say that. I mean, John's not going to change the rules that we start giving money out for home runs allowed. But at this point, we need home runs. I'm still confident they're going to hit a lot of home runs. I'm still confident they're going to win games because they hit the ball well. Maybe not the last couple of days. I want to be the one scoring the 24 runs, not giving it up. But the home run riches contest is ripe to make some dough because they're gonna hit home runs once the weather gets a little warmer here.
Yeah, well, you wait for the weather to warm up because the ball carries a little bit further. We did have a $3,000 winner on that was April the 19th. Peter Jardu from Catonsville. They hit 5 home runs in that game against the Cincinnati Reds.
Hey, Holiday
That
hit a
was
grand slam last week. Somebody got paid, right?
Yeah, Jackson Holiday had a grand slam, and that was Raymond Mitchell from Germantown, $6,500. We had him in here. He was here a
I
couple of
put
days
his
after that.
picture up a Baltimore Positive this week. I did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's up.
was very happy about that, and we were happy about that to see the first
Well, I had
grand
to
slam of the
figure it
year.
out. I'm like 6,500. I'm like, no, they don't get 5 grand for. We get 500 for winning, right? It's
Five
500.
hundred for being drawn, and then 500 for each home run,
The only
unless it's
way
a
you
grand
could get to
slam.
6,500 would have been if you had the batters from over the weekend on Sunday. But so when you see 6,500, it means they won a grand. There was a grand slam plus two, right?
Well, yeah, that's what that was in that case, unless they hit a whole bunch of home runs that day. So, you know,
Well, six on opening day, right? Whoever
yep,
had that one got like $3,500, right?
yep, and I can go back and I
See,
can
I'm
find
good at
that
times tables. See, you're
for
you're
you.
testing me. You're testing me, Seth.
That was Tiffany Jester of Cambridge, won $3,500 that day for the 6 home
So
runs.
those are the two biggest we've had, right? We've only had one grand slam, right? Maybe.
6,500 and then the 3,500 on opening day, and then we had that $3,000 last week. The game before the game against the Reds that
I
everybody
remember.
wants to
Yeah, it
forget.
was good. That was the Rubenstein bobblehead night. They hit a lot of home runs that day. Seth Elkin is here. He pretends to be an Oriole fan. You don't hate the Orioles. You root for the Orioles. You don't dislike the. You just been like a Pirates fan forever, and it's tough. I
I
know.
born and raised in Western Pennsylvania. So and those of us who are old enough to remember the days before interleague play, I don't know whether this is true for you, but you grew up in an American League city. I grew up in a National League city. I've always had a fascination with the American League teams because I never got to see them when I was growing
It
up.
was the same way with me. I
Yeah.
always wanted to see Steve Carlton, Mike Schmidt, Daryl Strawberry, all those guys play for sure.
So there was an air of mystery about them. You didn't get to see them unless you were watching This Week in Baseball or the Saturday game of the week. That was the only time you got to see the American League, or when I came down here to visit my grandmother.
You
So
wanted Eddie and you wanted Cal, you know that. And you start talking. I talk baseball with you, and I get that. How about that? I get a little Mel Allen going on here. What else you got going on? You got other big winners. And by the way, this time of year, I run into you, and I run into Gail, who I saw on the wall at the lottery headquarters the other day. And Ross, you guys spin the wheel. You do events. I mean, I'm looking out the window. My wife and I are going to the zoo Friday night. night to see the lights and do all that stuff. You guys are doing events like all over town, and we've had other big winners. We got stuff happening. It's exciting time of the year for the lottery.
Yeah, we had, and just to wrap up on Home Run Riches, we just did the drawing for the May contestants of the game, and
Sure.
those are all posted. So that drawing just happened. So everybody from May's been selected, but still got plenty of time to get in. The drawings are monthly throughout the season, so lots of time to get in on
This
that
is
for
such a
next year.
Baltimore thing for me, but like I want to go in and look because I'll know somebody.
Actually, there is someone from your homeland in Dundalk. Let me go
Hold
back and
on,
find
hold
it.
on. We got a Dundalk contestant in May. Hold
Yep,
on, stop
on
everything. Give me a
the
Tiffany.
May 14th game against the Minnesota Twins, Brittany Bosley from Dundalk is the contestant of the game. So
Brittany
you
Bosley. Do I know Brittany?
But yeah, to go back to what you're talking about with events, in the spring and summer months in particular, we're out and about all over the place. We will be in two places at once on Saturday. On April 26th, we will be at the Maryland Day at the University of Maryland, which is a big event in College Park. We'll be down there. Like I say, we can spin the prize wheel and we'll be out there meeting and greeting folks. And then we'll also be at the Westminster Wine Stroll this weekend out in Westminster. So we got that. And then
Oh, I like
Sunday,
Westminster. I like wine and I like strolling. So that sounds like fun.
and April 27th, Sunday the 27th, is the 14th annual Red Shoe Shuffle 5K run and walk that benefits the Ronald McDonald House. And so that's certainly a worthy charity that we want to make sure we support. And it's something, an event that we've gone to year in and year out. So we're happy to be out there and support that as well. So you'll find us at those three places and lots of others. Actually, next week, we will be out at Camden Yards for the April 30th game against the New York Yankees. So always fun. We hope it's fun when the Yankees are in town. We hope for a win on that one. So we'll be there for
Yankees
that
in
as
for
well.
three beginning Monday through Wednesday, and then the Royals come to town next weekend as well. But man, we got to take care of business against the Tigers. Got to figure this offensive thing out. Got to figure the pitching out and all that good stuff. And I hope that when you and I reconvene, times are better for my friends in Birdland here this week,
Well, I'm
right?
sure they will be for the Orioles because there's too much talent on that team for things to kind of plod along the way they are. But not so much from my Pirates. I'm not expecting very much, and I wish I could say I was counting down the days until Steeler training camp starts, but I'm not so sure I want to see that either at the moment.
Look, you and I have one Pittsburgh team in common that we both loved for sure. The Pittsburgh Pisces. They have my heart forever. They really do. Did I ever tell you my Dr. J story? It involves a casino.
You have, yep, I remember.
Yeah, man, I saw Dr. J like a couple of years ago, and he was so nice to me when he was a player. I covered him, and he was incredibly. But man, the Pittsburgh Pisces always Stockard Channing will always have my heart. There's no question about that. So we'll always say I'm going to get a Pittsburgh Pisces shirt just to show you my support. I've worn a Clemente shirt here on this program to support Roberto Clemente. So let's not act like it was the 79 Pirates that did me dirty. That's all. Other than that, I got nothing but love for you folks. Seth Elkin is here. He communicates and directs all things communication while John Martin is off I hope we hit some home runs and drive John crazy. I hope he has to give out big checks. I want some salamis this weekend against Scooble and against this Tigers thing. Let's get the Orioles back to where they need to be. I'm going to be back where I need to be at Coco's Pub. I'll be giving away the Back to the Future scratch offs. Maybe you can win $10,000. Come out to Coco's on Wednesday. We are going to be welcoming Jamie Costello, Senator Corey McRae, as well as my pal Howard Perlow and others. Marcella's going to come in. I got to reorganize this with Marcella. But one of my favorite things in life to eat, and this summer on behalf of the Maryland Lottery, I'm going to be doing my 27 favorite foods in August on the crab cake tour. But the Burke's crab melt was one of my all-time favorite things. It's now a Rofo, but Burke's isn't there anymore. But I've learned how to recreate it, and I need the Coco's crab cake because it tasted like a Coco's crab cake to do this. So Marcella has told me next Wednesday they're going to make burger night, crab melt night. We're going to watch the Orioles beat up on the Yankees while Seth and Roz and Gail's out at the ballpark trying to beat the Yankees as well. It's all brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. We'll see you at Coco's next Wednesday. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking. Baltimore positive in the Pittsburgh Pisces. Google it, kids. It's great. It's a fish. Save Pittsburgh.